Hiya. It's been a while, hasn't it? This is my new shed. It's just an update video to say what I've been doing, how things I think are going to progress, and a general tour of the new workshop. From this angle here, I'll mention briefly about what I've got, and then I'll go around. I'm going to have to handhold the phone for various bits while I explain it. So I'll try to keep the movement as slow as possible so it doesn't mess with your eyes. The reason why is I don't know where the hell my camera is. My camcorder and the tripod. Somewhere between the move from the old shed and destroying the old shed, having this one built and setting it all up, I've lost it. I've put it somewhere safe. So like I say, I'm going to handhold the phone, but I'm going to do slow movements so it doesn't mess your eyes up. No quick movements. If I bore you to death on various bits, just feel free to skip forward as you would do anyway. So I'm going to mention a few things here in this view. That racking system was a good idea to start with, or I thought it was a good idea at the time. I've had to sort that racking system out about 3 times so far, and it's now relatively clean compared to where it has been. So I think that lot is going to be taken down to put the mill over there on a concrete base, on a block and concrete base, because at the moment on that wooden table, if I make heavy cuts, the slightest bit of vibration vibrates the bench and the wall. And with wood, when you get slight chatter or variations in the wood, you can sand it. Not with metal. The smoothest cut, you rub your finger across it and you can't feel any fluctuations, but it looks a mess. So I'm going to have to move that somewhere. I've got an engineering lathe. I did have a Lorch AV. I've still got the Lorch AV in fact, but I made the mistake. It's the first one I bought and I thought, oh, that looks nice, I want an engineering lathe, I'll buy it. But it's a very old one. It's got no power feed on it, so if you want to do any type of threading at all above M12, you've stuffed it, unless you've got big guns and a big handle to turn the dies, the taps. So I'll get round to that. What else can you see in there? Obviously better lighting, much better lighting, and I'll get on with it now. So I'll handhold the camera, like I say, for some of it, and I'll try not to do big movements. Right, the wood lathe corner, that's exactly the same as how I had it set up before on the old shed, because I know obviously where everything is. When you get used to using something in a certain way and everything's in a certain position, you don't really want to be hunting high and low and reaching for somewhere. No, it's not there, it's somewhere else, that kind of thing. I have a hard time anyway when I'm using something, I put it down and I can't find the damn thing again. So I've decided to set that up exactly the same way as it was before. This is a U bowl that I started last year, wet turned last year, and I'm just getting to finish it now. The live edge, the bark dropped off in a few places, so an executive decision, decided to take a tool off and then round off all the edges, which took a hell of a long time. I've got grease on my hands, so I've got to be careful here. But that's had about 4 coats of spray lacquer on so far, and I need to wet sand it soon with oil. But I really like that. Right, slow movements, sorry. That's a toolbox that I bought from Gumtree. It's got metric and imperial, but the only problem is I didn't know this when I bought it, but the metrics only go up to 19mm. So what I've had to do is I've had to go to Halfords and buy a 20 to 32, I think, millimetre set of sockets. And I had to buy this as well because I broke the one that came with this. I was putting too much pain on it and the ratchet broke, so I had to buy another 3/8, I think, ratchet. I splurged quite a bit, splurged if that's the word, and I spent a hell of a lot of money on these 5C collets. And that thread, you wind and it pulls in and obviously cinches down on whatever you've got. That's 28mm, and that, I bought it not only for this, I bought it for other things as well. But that's an indexer that I bought for the mill. Only a cheap one, but the whole idea is that I think they're 10 degree increments, or there might be 5 degree increments, and then you've got these ranging from 0 to 9, so depending on where you put that pin, gives you 1 degree in increments, and that's a 5C collet. So as you tighten that, it pulls the collet into it, and it holds that, so you can put tooling in there. That's just an experiment, and that's still stuck in there now about 4 weeks later. But the whole idea is to hold your work and then work on it from the top and do detail work on the mill. That's the second vice I've got. That isn't really worth the money. It is fairly cheap, but that's only for light work. You can't do heavy work with one of these because the locking pin goes at 45 degrees down, and the whole idea is it locks it but also pulls the jaw down so that you don't get jaw lift. So it is very precise, but you've got to do light work with it because the actual locking pin itself, the locking bolt, is only M6, so you put too much pressure on it, it'll snap. That is a rotary table that I still haven't set up yet, but in fairness I've only had that a week, and that's for the mill as well. The junk shelf, it was a junk shelf before in my old shed, and it's even worse now. That pillar drill has been collecting dust in my old shed, and it's collecting more dust now. Now I've got the mill, I've got no need for that whatsoever, so I don't know what I want to do with that. It's that bad, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I wouldn't give it away. I'd rather likely scrap it. Probably use the base for something, and that bar for something else, and the motor for something else. But that's going to be a sacrificial piece of kit, that is. That's a piece of work that I'm doing for my mum. The Pro Edge, and I grind a lot more than just wood turning tools on that now. There's another purchase that I've made. That was half price at Halfords. It's supposed to be just over 100 quid, and they knocked it down to about 50 quid. And that goes all the way from 6mm, I believe, or it might be 4, all the way from 4mm up to 32. That I thought was a good idea at the time, but it's not worth using, especially on metal, because it just hasn't got the power to suck up metal from between the bedways. From between here, I've got it to suck out all that lot, all the crap that gets in there and all inside there, but it's not that good. So what I've done is I've got the usual, what you've probably seen me use before, the cheap enough, they're only 50 quid a unit, Titan Hoover. And I took the nozzle off the end, so it's the full 40 or 45mm, I think, something like that, and that is strong enough to suck all the crap and more from around there. That is an air compressor, and what I've done is this stuff, it isn't the honeycomb, the egg box stuff that you see, because the egg box stuff, all that does is it stops echo, it doesn't absorb noise. This stuff is closed cell noise reduction stuff. It's what you get for cars, from underneath car bonnets, engine compartments, to reduce noise, and under the floor, the car floor and the boot space, to stop the noise coming through. And I'm glad to say that is actually very, very good. It's just another thing that I've got to get round to. I've put this all the way to the edge so it gets a good seal there, but also this stuff is sticking out a little bit so it doesn't actually close properly, so I've got to clean that up so I can get the latch on that, because when I turn it on I've got to hold the door shut with my foot. and then that feed goes up the wall over the window, and that's some screw fix, a 10 metre length of air hose, and that can reach anywhere in the shed, which is very handy. And that is not a clock. That is not a clock. It's a Longworth chuck. Round to the mill. It is a small mill, and it is on a wooden bench. And that, I think I mentioned at the start, what I'm planning on doing is getting rid of that shelving, that racking. I've got a concrete base underneath this shed, and it's 4 inch thick. So what I'm thinking about doing is taking that out, cutting a hole in the floor, and building up some block work, and then have a thick concrete slab on the top. Well, not a casting, not a slab like a floor garden slab, but a casting of a solid concrete top, to then put that onto it, so you get a lot less vibration, because wood obviously flexes a lot more than concrete, so you get a slight vibration on that. It seems to amplify through the bench and up the wall. Because what I've had to do is as well, because it is a light one, all the weight, about 90% of the weight of this, it's 120 kilograms. I think about 100 kilograms of it is just the head. The head, the motor and the column is about 100 kilograms. In comparison, the bed and the base isn't that much. So what I've had to do is I've had to brace it with a bit of oak and these mahogany strips here. So when it's in use, you put it under pressure a little bit with a mill, end mill. So yeah, when you're using an end mill, you're cutting a channel into something, the whole thing shakes side to side a little bit. So I've braced that, and that does work very well, but still that vibrates the wall. It's not that good. So yeah, that concrete base is the name of the game, I think. This, I've had problems with it. Atlas FH10 TH42. The FH10 is 10 inch spindle height. TH is the bearings, which is Timken bearings, and 42 is the length of the bed. I've made this myself because the actual, and that is a Myford. It's not an Atlas compound slide, it's a Myford one, because it's a damn sight better than the Atlas one. That's the original, that's the Atlas one. You can see the actual mounting point there. It's only good for the old lantern type tool post holders. You stick a quick change tool post holder on it. That's the furthest it'll go back. I think with this one it'll go slightly a little bit further back. But you've got that overhang there, you've got the quick change tool post, which also has an overhang on it. So when you get the strain and the tool's trying to push down, you're getting all this flex, and it just vibrates around everywhere. So this has got a lot more movement. I can get that directly in the centre. So then the actual tool itself is above the actual cross slide. So I've made that myself. That took me a hell of a long time to do. The project that I've got now on the go is a straight coupler for that, and the reason why is over there. It looks a good lathe, and it is a good lathe, but it's got a few problems with it. That goes to all the change gears. So all the change gears on the side of the lathe powers that. But the problem is these teeth are shredded. I used it the first time and I thought, what's that grinding? I took it all apart and teeth were falling out of it. So the whole idea of that is you've got this castellated section here. See those small, thin castellations. The thread, that threaded bar, the power feed bar that goes the whole length, that moves the carriage side to side, power feeds the carriage side to side, is powered by that. It's got a key on the inside of there. Powered by that, and there's a handle that you can stick up that through here. There's a handle that you and a thing and a holder, and that holds that, The whole idea is you can move it left or right. One way, if it's to that side, is it's powering it, that one gear is going to turn that, and it's going to do the power feed, which is not too bad. But when you change the gearbox so the carriage goes the other way, the force goes into that, across to that one, into the turns this, and then that turns the actual thread, turns the bar. These are Zamac, and these are damn expensive. I've had a look to see how much these are to replace them. I've got to order them from America. Boy, that one is, I think, just over $100, and that's one shaft that goes through, and that's one whole piece. That's about 70, and that's about that's about 70. That's about 60, and these are about 50 each. So I thought, not a chance. So what I'm doing now, that is how it's supposed to be fitted. You've got the bar going through there and the handle, so you can go neutral, no feed, or you can go forward or reverse, or forward and reverse, depending on how it was. I've never actually used it. I've only tried to use it there once and it jammed up. And then you've got obviously the gears that are coming from the spindle will power all the change gears for different ratios onto that, and then that feeds that bar, and then that bar obviously feeds this carriage and also cuts. That's the reason why there's that much pressure needed for that, and you just got those thin pot metal gears, small gears. So what I'm planning on doing is, obviously if the gears are set up a certain way, that'll turn a certain way. So there's something called a tumbler gear setup, which is another bar that comes across with two gears on it that are exactly the same size. The whole idea is it'll turn one way, and then you turn the lathe power off, you move the handle, and it moves. So instead of just say one gear contacting there, and then contacting another one, you move it, it'll contact both the gears and then the other one. So effectively, just by moving that, you're sticking another gear in the chain. So, which will then reverse the next set of gears down. Instead of it turning one way, it'll turn the other way instead, and it'll do that the other way. And the reason why I need that, I can reverse the motor, the polarity of the motor. I can have the motor going forward or backwards. But the problem is with that, if you go one way, obviously cutting, flip the rotation and it'll go the other way, but then the chuck will move in a different direction as well. So you won't be cutting anymore. So if you want to power feed to cut this way, it's fine. But then going the other way to cut like into a corner, into a recess, the chuck will be turning the wrong way. So the whole idea is obviously to have that lever where you can pull it up and down. So you put it the other way, still keep the motor in the same direction, chuck will move the right way, but then the carriage will move in a different direction. So what I'm talking about at the moment is I'm going to do away with all these gears and just have a straight coupler that just goes straight from here through there to the change gears. So when the change gears power that, it's just a straight coupler straight to that. Hope that's explained it. Right, this is all the racking that I'm talking about that I'm going to get rid of. Once I've done those up there, because I've got quite a bit to do up there, or to be honest, I might just get rid of it before I get all that lot done and build it all up. Just put that mill over there, and also instead of having one of these red toolboxes here and another one behind me, once I've got that mill out of the way, it'll give me a nice long section there where I've got nothing there, so that I could stick the two toolboxes there instead and clear up a bit of space just there. That's my 3D printer and laptop and a kettle. I've got a kettle, sugar, a tea bag holder, powdered milk, because I don't mind powdered milk sometimes, and it's better than having a bottle of milk in here. I leave it in here and it goes sour, turns to yoghurt. And that, I've got all my tools in there for the mill and the lathe. Got various tools that I spent a small fortune on. Got files in there. I've got marking out and measurement equipment in there. I've got cutters for the mill and the lathe in there. That's for the mill as well. The 3 insert end mill, and that is a very good one, that is, by Glanze. Glanze. That, various drill bits, and that. These don't actually work, but I like the look of them, so I've kept them. Micrometers. And obviously in the top there, underneath all these invoices, an old Rolling Stones ticket. That was a fantastic gig, that was, at Cardiff Millennium Stadium. Got some cobalt drill bits there, taps, more drill bits, and various bits and bobs for my boring bar, which isn't actually boring, for some anyway. And that goes in the mill. And then depending on how you move that, rotate that, depends on where that gets situated in that dovetail. So that will turn, and then you'll have a bar sticking out either side to do a very big hole, or off centre here. So you can have it off centre there, so you can, that's going to be rotating and cut a very big hole with one of these. And insert on the end, so that'll literally go around and cut in your hole a lot bigger than what a drill bit will do. And then I come full circle. Oh, with a woodworking shed, obviously you get wood chips all over the place, don't you? Now I've got an engineering lathe and a mill. Get all these metal chips everywhere. Not nice. Very crinkly when you're walking on them. I'll come full circle, nearly full circle. That is the garden. My God. That's not like yours, is it, Mike Walt? Your garden's immaculate. That's been waiting for a year now to do all the edging. The grass got laid right up to the edge, and then I've been meaning to cut down the side. You know what I mean? To put some pea gravel or something down the side, so when you're mowing it, you don't get all those weeds. It's a lot better to maintain it. I need a retaining wall of some sort just there, because that concrete slab, it's all wearing away from underneath it. So I need to do a retaining wall there. Cut a big section out just there, because the sun never gets to that point and the grass just does not grow properly just there. So I make a curved design around there and then down here. Those slabs, I'm thinking about taking those out and putting a channel, pea gravel or something, because you mow both sides of it, and those slabs, all the grass seems to raise and then drop back down again. I think the reason why is I'm always walking over that, I'm walking over the grass, but the section just to the side of the grass section just to the side of each slab I don't walk on, so that's not compacted. So yeah, I think I've got to dig all that out and put something there, but that's another time. And a mess right up at the top of the garden that's been like that for about 6 months. All that wood stood up there is from the old shed, and it's still there now. So, and that's what sidetracking does. I've electrified it. That steel wire arm coming out there goes all the way along the fence. If you can just see it there, out there, goes all the way along the fence, down the alleyway, across and into the board. And I've wired all that up myself. I used to be an electrician, so I have done that properly. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's what I've been up to over the past 5 months. This shed got built in February, so since February to now I've pretty much been setting it up, doing a few projects and working on the lathe or the mill. At some point I'm sure I'm going to be doing a lot more woodwork again, but my channel, I think from now forward, is going to have wood turning on it and also metalwork, and a combination of the two, like some woodwork with metal in it. So I'm looking forward to the future with a little bit of trepidation, trying not to spend as much as what I am, because I've spent an absolute bomb on equipment in this shed. The shed itself as well, it's double skinned, as you see. It's plyboard everywhere, but it's got 50mm silver backed. You get that silver, that hard foam with silver tape both sides. It's 50mm throughout all the walls and also the ceiling, and that costs about 300-400 quid, something like that, just for the insulation. And you know how expensive plyboard is and how much plyboard you've seen in this shed. So I spent a bomb, so I think from this day forward I'm going to try not to spend so much. I think I've pretty much got what I need now as far as machining is concerned. I don't want to even think about buying any more machinery, and I think anything that I ought to really buy now is just cheap stuff, like the odd bit of tooling every now and again for the mill or for the lathe. Oh no, I need to build a new shed, don't I? That shed at the top of the garden to put all that lot in, and also the front bedroom in my house is full of wood. So yeah, I want to get all that lot down as well. So have a good week, month, year, life, and I hope to see you soon. Take it easy.